Hey y'all, welcome back to yourself. These are days where even taking care of yourself feels like too much. Like brushing your teeth feels like effort, making food or even thinking about what you're going to cook for dinner feels overwhelming. Even thinking about getting back on track just feels so heavy, like you just don't want to even think about it. And what usually happens is you start judging yourself or you don't trust yourself. You think like, why can't I just be consistent? Why is this so hard for me? What is wrong with me? We say all these things to ourselves, but I want you to pause right here because what if nothing's really wrong with you? What if your body and your brain are just overloaded? Hence, let me plug this in. Why I'm doing long form content here is to help us get back to being more human, healing our nervous system without constant swiping for more information and also grounding us back to earth so we can remember who we are. So, hi, if you're new here, I'm Samantha, former ICU nurse turned holistic guide, and I'm here to help you break the patterns and remember who you are so you can dream big and have so much clarity in your life. This world is so noisy and full of things that are, it's so much fluff out there. So I'm here to let's just bring it back to the basics here. Let's be, it's all about ascending. You see that everywhere. I want you to bring it back because we're all up in the ether. We're all in our head. I want you to bring it back to earth, bring it back to body, bring it back to your natural state. So that's what we're doing here. Most people misunderstand burnout. They think it's just being tired, but burnout isn't just being tired. Burnout is your nervous system saying, I don't have enough capacity to handle life the way it's happening. So when you try to push yourself to be more productive, more disciplined, routine, but nothing is actually sticking, it's not because you're undisciplined, of course. It's because your system is in survival mode and your soul is here for a specific reason, and it feels overwhelmed and so misaligned that it's trying to tell you in all these ways and it's communicating. So yes, this channel is about holistic healing, and that involves a lot of spiritual healing as well. And all of that increases your clarity and really helps you step forth into your mission here and to really take aligned action. So, in survival mode, your body is doing one main thing, it's prioritizing safety over self improvement. So, even good things like eating well, moving your body, or resting properly can feel like too much. Not because they're actually hard, but because your system is already at its capacity and we've been programmed for convenience, and it's overwhelming to think outside of the box sometimes. So that's one reason why, it feels impossible, but self-care feels impossible. This is the part that really nobody really explains. So when you're burnout, self-care doesn't feel like, oh, this feels so good. It actually feels like there's another thing that you have to do on your to-do list because your nervous system isn't resourced enough to like initiate that care. So instead of flowing into habits, you actually freeze and you're like, you delay, you avoid, maybe you numb out, you drink wine, you smoke marijuana. You're trying to escape and relax because you don't get that very often. And I'll go into that a little bit deeper on another video. So instead of flowing into habits, we freeze, we delay, we avoid, we numb, and then the shame loop starts. I should be able to do this, but listen to me carefully. You don't need more pressure on yourself. You need capacity. There's a big difference. Society pressures us into everything. Try harder. You're not good enough. That's not good enough. But capacity tells us, let's make this more simple so your body can actually hold it and sustain it. So let's just talk about what to do instead. So what do you do when you're actually here? Most of the time, you don't overhaul your life. You don't create a whole drastic new routine overnight. You come back to yourself in the smallest possible version of care, just accessible care, you know. So just try this. Re- Reduce the demand. Instead of asking, what should I be doing? Let's say, what can I stop expecting from myself right now? You know, let's do like a micro routine, not some glow up routine, morning routine that takes 2 hours, just something very simple like drink your water slowly first thing in the morning, sit outside for 2 minutes, put your hand on your chest and just take a deep breath. Eat something very simple and slowly. Eat it slowly. All that counts. That actually counts more than forcing a full routine, full throttle that you can't sustain. So eventually, I'll get to the point in some of these videos where you know when to take radical action, and that's needed and necessary to get the radical changes that you want in your life. But for right now, for the capacity that you have, I don't want to overwhelm you because most of us aren't all in. And it can be overwhelming, especially in this day and age. And I want you to take it slow and just trust the process. When you change, things change. So if you're taking small changes, you can expect changes to happen. It's all about systems. What you put in, you get out. Another good one is stop measuring yourself by productivity. You're not behind or failing. You're just overloaded and possibly misaligned with what you're doing. Maybe underappreciated or undervalued wherever you're working or whatever you're doing. Or you just aren't in alignment with what you're doing. An overloaded system doesn't need more pressure or punishment. It needs support. And that's why I'm here, actually. We can't do this alone. And statistically, I don't remember the statistics, but people follow through a whole heck of a lot more when they at least have one supportive person in their life, one person to feed their delusional dreams. And that's me. It's not even delusional to dream. The world has made it seem like it's crazy for you to not be happy or content in your life and in your health. Those are all signals. If you're not happy, something is trying to tell you. Your higher self is trying to tell you to change so you can blossom into the fullest, most highest, holiest version of yourself. I want to help with the identity shift. It's the deeper root here. I want to go a layer deep with you because burnout isn't just physical. It becomes identity. And you start thinking like, I'm the type of person who always falls off. I'm inconsistent. I can't stay disciplined. And when that identity forms, your nervous system actually starts protecting it. And even when you want to change, because the nervous system doesn't respond to goals, it responds to familiarity. So even healing can feel unfamiliar, uncertain, unsafe even. Feeling good can feel unsafe at first. It really can. Which is why you don't force your transformation. You retrain it safely, slowly, gently, with devotion, consistency. I hope this all is landing. If you take nothing else from this video, I want it to be this. You don't need to fix yourself. You don't need to become a more disciplined version of yourself overnight. You need to just rebuild your capacity. And it's one small step at a time, one day at a time. Because healing doesn't start with intensity, it starts with safety. Safety creates that consistency. And consistency creates change, and then that is what restores your self-trust and your hope and like, hey, it's actually possible for me. So if this resonates with you, I made a free burnout reset guide that walks you through how to start rebuilding your nervous system gently without pressure or overwhelm. I'll link it below. And just take care of yourself in the smallest way today. And yeah, and I'll meet you back here soon. So I want you to remember, healing is your nature.